Welcome to another episode of Rehab Now with consultant physiatrist Dr. Paula Dawson, our rehabilitation medical doctor, and I'm your host, Alicia Taylor. What's up, Doc?
Not a mess. What's up, Alicia?
I'm here. I'm so happy to be here.
Me too.
Thank you all so much for joining us on Power 106. Remember to check out our social media pages. On Instagram, it's Rehab Institute Caribbean. Dr. Paula Dawson and Alicia Taylor Music. On Facebook, it's Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, and our website is rehabcaribbean.com. Now, today, we have a fantabulous guest with us. Him bachelor's in physiotherapy at the University of the West Indies. And get this.
Big up Huey.
Yeah, right? Doc is always bigging up Huey. So let's just take a moment and big up Huey.
University of the West Indies.
And he did his master's at the University of Leeds in sports and exercise medicine. Every day is a new thing. I never know there was a thing called exercise medicine. But Jared Harris, welcome to Rehab Now.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
All right, nice. I'm posh.
And
like
he's with
it.
us at the family. He's a family member at
Rehab?
Institute.
You are at Rehab too?
Yes, I am.
Stop! I've never seen you.
I started a couple weeks ago. That's
Got
why.
it.
He just came back from London.
Okay. Okay.
Freshly trained, bringing new knowledge, new expertise.
Oh, but Jared, you're not bad. You're not bad, Jared.
Yeah, I try.
All right. So today we're talking about muscle strengthening. Let them see your muscles. I'm sorry, them can't see it because of my ear. Let them hear the flexing. Oh, that don't make any sense. Anyway, so we're talking about muscle strengthening and conditioning.
Yes, we are.
Great. Of course, I have no idea what that means. Well, I mean a little bit. But let's start with what it means for your muscles to be deconditioned, or what does it mean to be deconditioned?
All right.
Okay.
So when you're deconditioned, you have poor physical health. You're weak. You're tired. You're unfit. So your fitness is kind of low, right? You frequently get tired. You're not able to do a lot of stuff, and it not only interfere with physical health, your mental health as well, your mood as well. So Alicia, why you look like that?
Because this area I read the story of my life, and it's just,
right.
God.
So deconditioning can lead to decrease in your balance. Yeah. So you'll be walking and you fall over. Inability to walk too far, inability to jog. You're completely out of breath. You have to sit down frequently, and especially when you have to do a lot of mind work, mental work. Being deconditioned physically from lack of exercise, that Jared is going to explain, can also lead to mental fatigue, brain fogs.
Oh,
you understand? So the healthier you are, the more conditioned, the fitter you are, and the stronger you are, it is always better. Older folks, when they're walking, they may have decreased balance, they may fall, they may fracture somewhere. Sometimes when you lean over to pick up something, you topple over because you don't have the core strength or posture to maintain. So while it might sound like strength and conditioning is only for athletes, it is for everybody in the street. Children playing skipping at school, old people just walking. It's very important not to allow yourself to become deconditioned, which is why we think this topic, strength and conditioning, is so very important.
When they really that one really got to me a while ago. Thank you so very much, Doc. So Jared, tell me a little bit, because Doc spoke about being deconditioned. So what the conditioning part now?
What's the
Strength and
conditioning
conditioning.
part?
Right. Sorry, of course. Remember, I don't know these things, guys, so you have to help me, all right?
Right, so we tend to have strength and conditioning as one big thing, but there is a difference between the two.
Okay.
Strength training has to do with improving your muscles' ability to generate and tolerate the forces that you put it through. So generating force would be like getting up from a chair. Your legs have to generate force to get you out of the chair or out of the couch or up the stairs. Tolerating force could be the flip side. So every time you land, every time your foot lands, your legs have to tolerate your body weight being placed on it. Or you have to tolerate the groceries that you're carrying from the car to the house, or you're carrying it on the bus from the market back home. So we put a lot of load on our body.
So you generate and you tolerate.
So you can generate force when you're moving something.
Okay.
And if you are resisting something being moved, that could be seen as tolerating force.
I would need both of those things.
You need both. And it's not like you can switch one off and then switch the other on. It just happens. So that's strength, right?
Okay.
Conditioning is more specific to the things like improving your cardiovascular efficiency,
Okay.
improving how you move and not just how much you can move. And it can also help to develop your mental specificity. So what that means is the more you practice a specific task, is the better you become at it. So you can condition yourself to be better at certain activities.
Yeah, but I mean, so I try the exercise thing, right? And I try it a lot, but it don't matter how much I try it, I'm not good at it. My body resists it every time.
You know what I like about that? Because to become conditioned, it has to be appropriate activities over time.
Okay.
So
I
not
don't
just
know.
one time. You have to stick to it.
Okay, appropriate. What do you mean appropriate
So
activity?
whatever it is that the strength and conditioning specialist like Jared will put together for you.
Oh, you can put things together for me?
I can put a few things together, yeah?
Yeah, that's your
Jared, I like
specialty.
that.
Yes.
Hold on. You're going to put something together for me on this program. Sorry, go ahead. Finish, Doc, so we can make Jared put
Right, so
something
you were
together for me.
saying, why is it that when you try, you can't do it? It's primarily because you need to do it over time. So you have to, usually you start low, go slow until you
Okay.
can tolerate. You might start too fast and then you crash. So you may have to start low, go slow, and gradually increase.
Okay. So Jared, so you're able to like prescribe or to design like a regiment for me. Is that what you mean when you say?
Yeah. So what we can do is first of all, we need to know what your goals are,
Okay.
right? So are you trying to lose muscle? Are you trying to not lose muscle mass? Nobody wants to lose muscle. Are you trying to lose fat?
Definitely that.
Are you
Sorry,
trying to
go
gain
ahead.
muscle? Are you trying to get faster? Are you trying to get stronger? So we need to know what your needs are so that we can tailor the program to meet those needs.
Exercise medicine. So you would be like a fitness trainer kind of thing? You could? No, me not try water down your thing or whatever. I'm just ask.
All right, so I'm a physio, so
With masters.
with a master's in sports medicine.
Come on.
Yes.
So physios tend to be more at the first phase, the early phase, where we're helping someone recover from an injury.
Yeah, okay.
Or we're helping them to improve their movement patterns. But when it comes to the typical strength and thing that you think of when you think of strength and conditioning, you think of people lifting heavy weight or running really fast. There are specialist coaches who will help for those goals. So physios tend to come in early on. I know a few physios who are certified personal trainers who can then take you further, but there is a difference between the two.
Okay, and depending on my age and my ethnicity, all of those things are taken into consideration
All
when
those
you're
things.
doing a... Okay. I'm doing bad. All right, so Doc, tell me what are some of the benefits of... I know to list out some of them, but specifically, let's just go in a little bit more detail.
More
What are some of
practical
the,
things.
benefits
All right, so
of
muscle strength and conditioning will focus on your mind, your mobility,
I like the M's.
your
You have another M?
stability,
You know what?
your
You know-
stability, your endurance, your power, your speed, and your agility.
Really?
So all of these things. So it's not just physical, it's the whole body.
Yeah.
Right? So
right.
it increases your muscle strength, it increases your endurance, it increases your fitness. It can also increase your mental health. In some instances, it can prevent cancer.
You know what? Sign me up for the muscle strengthening and conditioning too. That's
Right.
what
All
we're-
right, yes, ma'am.
Right. Right. And so, in addition to that, I want to give you something quite practical.
Okay.
I started training recently after 2 years of not training because of COVID. I'm going to blame it on COVID.
All right,
And I
cool.
find that when I reach over to get something, I kind of feel my core recruiting. And usually before that, I'm toppling over like you're lifting up a bag. You ever go to the supermarket and you get a bag? And after a while,
Your arms, yeah.
your arms start burning you. Now I can carry my bag without feeling that burn because I now have, as Jared said, I now have the strength, the power, and the endurance to maintain the activity. So all of these things are important for you. What we don't understand, another benefit you get from it, especially when we talk about when you're going up in age, you get balance. You know, you lose balance. You lose what we call proprioception. And the training that Jared and the team at Rehab Caribbean can do for you will help you to regain all of this. In addition to that, before, because I want Jared to go into more details, it will help your lungs, your heart, not only increasing the muscle fiber length, you know, remember, you know, because when you lift weights, it increases your muscles. That's why Jared looks so muscular.
True.
You know?
I went to the gym this morning, so I'm just a bit swollen.
Good job, Jared. You got gym.
But it also will help your bowel movement. Believe it or not, if you're constipated, it will help your bowel movement. It will help circulation if you have older folks with swelling in their legs. All of these things, which is why strength and conditioning is important. Right. So Jared now will take us to the next level of the discussion, you know. And of course, you know, there usually, as it relates to strength training, there's usually 3 main areas.
Yeah.
Right.
What are those 3 main areas?
Well, it depends on. It really depends on.
Right. So he's at a different level. So you have the stability, the strength, and the power, which we usually talk about. But he will take it to a different level of explanation.
Right. There are several different principles that are surround strength and conditioning. But if you remember nothing else from what I'm about to say, remember that you cannot go wrong getting strong.
Oh,
Okay?
I like that.
Can't go wrong getting strong. If the radio lock off, no, you can't go wrong getting strong. You lower risk of injury. You have a faster recovery from injury. Your quality of life overall is going to get better. The more you exercise and the stronger you get. And there are several age groups that will benefit from that. It's not just the elderly, even children.
Why you say elderly when you point over my side when you say elderly?
No.
He didn't point over my side.
The elderly?
I'm just thinking along the timeline from left to right.
Yeah,
Right?
left
So
is
to
0,
right.
you're going up.
I wasn't pointing at you at all. But the elderly, children, people with disabilities or differently abled individuals and people with chronic illnesses. And I'll get to the women in the next section because I have a special message for the ladies who don't want to look manly. I have something to say to you.
All right. You cannot go wrong getting strong. You hear that? We're going to take a break. When we come back, Jared is going to finish in details, you know, with the old people and all. Stay with us. Welcome back to Rehab Now. If you're just joining us, we're talking about strengthening and conditioning, and we have our physiotherapist here, Jared Harris.
Hi. Hey,
Again, yes. So I just want to bring Doc back in, and she was talking about 3 areas: stability, strength, and power.
Right. And so strength and conditioning, it's important for you to know, listeners, that without strength and conditioning, your body is inefficient. And yes, inefficient. So the stability, the strength, and the power. Let's talk a little bit in more details about those areas. So stability. What is stability? Your core and your posture, right? Your core and your posture. You have to work on core strength and maintain a good posture. Even if you're walking up the stairs or walking down the stairs or running, if you don't have that core, all those muscles, you remember we spoke about the multifidi muscle, the paraspinal muscle, the core. And remember, the core is a cylinder. Yes. Remember, I thought it was a 5-gallon bucket.
Remember the 5-gallon bucket.
Where the diaphragm is the top of the bucket.
Yes.
The pelvic floor is the bottom of the bucket. And you have a muscle that comes all the way around the transversus abdominis.
Yeah, man. I know the transversus abdominis. I know the rectus abdominis.
Yeah, man. Yes, of course. Very good. And then the multifidi. Those are the little tiny ones that stabilize each segment in the lower back. And so with the core, if you don't have good core strength, when you're doing a run or when you're moving, your body will fall apart. You ever see some people running and their pelvis is all over the place and they're thrashing around, inefficient, using too much energy. Using too much energy, and so they are prone to injuries. Because they're not efficient. They might twist their ankle, they may wring out their back. You know, Jamaican people might wring out your back or something like that. So core, stability is important. Okay. Stability in your ankle. You know, you need to maintain stability, not just in your core, but in your ankle. So the posture is the entire body. You know, you may have some people that might have I'm going to make up something called a loose neck. Oh, there's something called a text neck for people who text too much, where your neck flex down. So if you're running, you may end up with too much bobbing in your head, and too much bobbing in your head may lead to neck injuries. You have no stability in your neck, so stability is important for strength and conditioning. The next one, strength. Now for strength training, it's good to run regularly. For me, I used to go to the gym. I used to do whole heap of reps, low weight. But to build strength, Jared will tell you, you need high weight, low reps, because you're not going to increase the muscle size if you don't increase the weight. Me, I mean, I'm no shame. I like put on 5 pound on my leg press and people laugh at me. But then I did that and I kind of regret it now because I never maintained my good leg strength, right? So it's important for you if you want to build strength, it has to be a higher weight, lower reps. That's how you increase your muscle fiber strength. And then the power. Power is what more you see with athletes. You always see them jumping over boxes or doing some plyo or pulling a sled behind them and some powerful thing. Those kind of jumping and quick burst of energy that will give you the power, and the power will take you to that next level. And those are important to prevent injuries. Like especially for contact sports, you know, the football players, as soon as you bounce one of them they may turn over. You know, like what was his name? Neymar. You remember Neymar? Right. So it's not that Neymar didn't have the stability, but let's come back to why power is important, because it allows you to perform at a higher, more efficient level without the risk of injuries. And so there's several exercises you can do.
I was just going to ask, because it's like, what are we doing? Like, how do I get core strength? How do I get that stability and that power? So, Jared, do you have, Chris, you have physiotherapist, exercise medicine guy. You must have some form of activity I can do.
I do.
Okay.
Now, when people hear strength and conditioning, the first thing they think of is the gym. And some people can't afford the gym. Here's the thing.
True.
Body weight is free. And you can start by doing simple body weight exercises at the appropriate intensity, and that will help you get stronger. For example, you can start with a push-up.
Using your own body weight. Body weight means using your own body as the weight.
That's it. So your body is the weight.
Listen, my body is too much weight.
So here's the thing.
So you'll be doing
power. There's no excuse. There's still no excuse, because one of the advantages of body weight is that you simply change the position and the exercise can get easier or harder. So rather than doing push-ups with your hands on the floor, you can do push-ups with the hands on the wall and then work your way down to the floor. As you get stronger on the wall, you put your hands on the bed. If you get stronger on the bed, you put your hands on something lower until you're on the floor doing your push-ups.
I didn't even know that.
And it doesn't just work with push-ups. If going all the way down with a squat is too much, squat to the chair and come up and work your way down.
Nice.
Until they get used to it, because after a while your body going to get, your muscles going to get used to it.
And so that's why they have ladies push-up. They push-up.
Yeah, I don't want to say ladies push up because it's 2022.
Oh, well, I'm a lady and I can only do. What is that again? What is that again?
The technical term is kneeling push up.
Oh, kneeling push up.
Get into that, but you can.
That's not the one where you do this.
No, that's
for sure. You're don't know nothing at all.
That's the one where you're, instead of being with your knees off the ground, you put the knees on the ground. You walk your hands forward, and you can do push-ups from that position.
Oh, you said kneel.
Yeah.
Kneel down. I do the push-up.
God, where did I get my elbows from, man?
So those are planks. So that's for the core.
Planks.
So you can do push-ups.
Do you see how terrible I am at this?
You can do push-ups.
You need to come to the
Rehab Institute of the Caribbean.
And have Jared or one of our therapists kind of help you to get strong and conditioned.
True.
Right. So those are strengthening exercises. You can start with body weight and then you can move up. Or
weight.
Or if you don't want to pay for a gym, you can pour some sand in a bag and measure it and just lift that, push it over your head. Squat, lunge, you can do your exercises at home. So really there's no excuse aside from us just not wanting to exercise, if we're being honest.
Nobody wants to exercise, Jared.
Yeah, man, people do.
People do.
Because it produces like a happy hormone, your own endorphins.
Just put on music. I mean, that'll make me happy.
But that's the other thing when it comes to doing strength and conditioning is find something or some method that you're going to stick with. So if you're going to stick with body weight and make it more difficult. So there's this principle called progressive overload, which is very important. Progressive overload, it's necessary in order for you to get stronger.
Okay.
Right? What that means is you either increase the resistance, which is making the exercise more difficult, or you could increase the time that you do the exercise.
Okay.
or you can make it a little more complex by changing something about your body position. And it's necessary to do that in order to stimulate growth. If you don't, and you keep doing the same thing over and over, then you can also get injured.
Really?
So that's why variation, which is another principle, also comes into play.
Life hardy, man. So you have strengthening exercise different from conditioning exercise.
Right. So conditioning exercises have more to do with applying the strength to another activity. For example, let's say you're doing squats. Squats make the legs stronger.
Okay.
Right? But you want to get faster. So you can take the strength that you get from doing squats, which is a strengthening exercise, and you can do sprints over short distances. So sprinting is a conditioning exercise because you're using that strength for a specific activity. You're conditioning yourself to get faster.
Jared, you're doing bad, you know. You're doing bad at all. Here's my problem with squats, and I'm going to ask Doc about this one. When I'm doing squats, and it's not that I'm completely lazy, but my knees hurt terribly to the point where I don't think it's because I'm not exercising or I'm not doing squats. I just feel like there's something, it feels like something wrong.
Okay.
So, okay.
We actually covered this in another episode. So remember, for those of you who don't know, Alicia is tall and she has a little knock knee.
Yeah, man.
Genu-
6 feet 3 inches tall.
Right. So she has genu valgus. What does that
Yes.
mean? With knock knee, you have the kneecap, which is supposed to track between the thigh bone and the leg bone. And you can have something called patella maltracking, where the kneecap track off, and so the cartilage kind of rubs on the bone. So how do you prevent that? Just as Jared said, you have to strengthen the quads without going too far down in the squat, because the quads will stabilize the kneecap as it's gliding through the groove in the thigh bone. So if the quad muscles are weak, you're going to fall apart. Your form is going to fall apart and your kneecap is going to track off. So what you're feeling is pain in the anterior, which is the front part of the knee. You can feel it deep inside as well, because without the stability, you're going to get grinding and instability in the knee. So you need to gradually, just like Jared said, start with the wall squats. A wall squat is you lean back on the wall. How it go again, Jared?
So you lean back on the wall and essentially you keep your body against the wall and slide down until you get to a mildly difficult point. So you don't want to go too far down, okay? You might drop, but you want to go...
Or hurt yourself.
I definitely fall. I can't tell
Or
you.
hurt your knee.
Right, so you want to get far enough so that you feel the quads working and you can stay there and hold it. So this is one of those instances where a way to progress, instead of trying to go deeper, would be to hold that position for a longer time. So instead of 30 seconds, you go for a minute. Instead of a minute, you go for a minute and a half. Right?
So you have to strengthen your quadriceps muscles to stabilize your knee so you don't get the knee pain.
So I would eventually be able, one of these days in life, to do the full squat. Or with my knock knee, I won't
No,
be
man,
able
if
to.
you're consistent, but we
Okay.
may have to change some more biomechanics.
Right.
Because it might be that, you may even have pronated feet, meaning your foot might be turned in, and that will change the biomechanics. So with stability, we also talk about kinematics, which is movement of the different joints. And so it might be a full assessment that, like Jared and the other guys will have to do.
That's what I was
for
going
you.
to say. That's what I was going to ask. So somebody like me can do muscle strengthening and conditioning exercises on my own.
It's best in general for someone who is more experienced or less experienced. It's best in general if you have some form of medical exam. So have a screening by a doctor and a physio before you start any exercise program.
Really, look at
And
that.
that's important because you'll be able to progress quicker without injuries.
But some people will say, oh, but I used to this, I used to do that, so I can just jump back in. It's still best to have that screening done. But understand that you are taking this on at your own risk, but it's an investment. You're investing into your health and you'll see long-term benefits. And it's also important to remember, for those of you who may be intimidated by the thought of going to a gym or starting an exercise program because you're embarrassed. Listen, nobody who is serious about their health is going to laugh at you for being serious about yours.
Absolutely.
And often the more experienced people are going to be more than willing to share their information and experience with you. All right?
You're a motivational speaker as well.
No.
Should be.
But I just want
Most
also.
therapists, most physical therapists are, because patients will need that encouragement.
It's true, because that was very encouraging for me, actually. Thank you.
Should we
very
say
much.
it again for
And
you?
it's also very important to be patient and consistent because it will take time. Like literally, it takes a while for your nervous system to adapt and then your muscles start to adapt. There's a whole lot of science behind it.
I appreciate it, man. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Any final statements from Doc or Jared? Or Doc? Because Jared just gave final statement. Really, really good, man.
Yeah, it's good. So just remember, strength and condition is important. It helps your mind, your body, and it helps a whole person, right? You become stronger, more stable, and better balance in general.
All right.
Remember, you cannot go wrong getting strong.
You couldn't make me say it. I was
Alright,
going to
go
close
ahead.
off
Pretend
with
I never
it.
said that.
You know what? That's it. Thank you so much for joining us on Rehab
Let's say it as a
now.
chorus.
Remember, you cannot go wrong getting strong. Thank you. Rehab was brought to you by the Rehabilitation Institute of the Caribbean, providing medical care for function and performance. Dank Pharma, a combination of key active ingredients designed to boost the body's natural defense. Winchester MRI, Jamaica's first choice for MR imaging. And of course, Almighty Studios, a recording studio where we create worship music to praise, to worship, and to serve. Thank you all. I'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.
Blessings.